It's that time of year again. Us Americans eat more than we usually do, and humanity continues down its endless spiral of senseless consumerism, completely forgetting the real reason for the season. Speaking of which, I could probably use a new laptop. Maybe I can actually get the full version of Sony Vegas, instead of being such a cheapskate. Wait, what were we talking about again? Oh right, holidays. So I decided I'd give you an early gift this Christmas, winter season. Non-denominational winter season. So how about we do a little special dedicated entirely to history's first instance of nerd tech culture being heavily featured on network television. Channel that needs no introduction, Tech TV. So why don't we just dig into this delicious slice of American culture? Let's begin. 1998 was the year Vulcan Inc. invested in computer and technology-based print publications from Ziff Davis, like PC Magazine and MacWeek, just to name a few. It soon led to the development of televised programming with similar content to the publications. The earliest instance of Tech TV aired on May 11, 1998, under the name ZDTV. The shows were aimed at many different type of people within the tech industry, from top-tier wizards to the common layman.
Latest technologies. Ziff Davis, the world's leader in computer publishing, events, and information, announces a breakthrough in the world of cable television. ZDTV, your computer channel. The first network devoted entirely to computers and the internet, 24 hours a day.
ZDTV's lineup ran the gamut of many different kinds of shows, though one of their more popular shows that aired at the time was The Screensavers. The two hosts Leo Lamport and Kate Bertello would offer various forms of advice to people who called into their show. Their advice was helpful but not patronizing. The show itself was pretty dry, but they would make the occasional joke here and there.
You know...
Oh, it's Baba Ram.
That's right.
Young.
And what we can't show you in that picture, folks, is that what David is holding in his hands is the remnants of his hair. Oh, which reminds me...
We forgot. We can't do this. Our tradition, before the show starts, many people don't know this. David, come here. We got to rub David's head. It's the traditional good luck charm before the show begins.
Okay. Now we can
do a show.
Now we can go on with the show.
With an amazing roster of shows, ZDTV seemed like an instant success. It's only a matter of time before other companies wanted a piece of that pie. It was around July 2000 ZDTV was acquired by CNET, and with new management came a new name. On September 18, 2000, Tech TV was born. Starting from 2001 to 2004, they aired about 9 hours of tech news-based programming, an experiment to basically attract more day traders and business types to the network. Though over time it slowly began to alienate the more geeky sides of the tech community. In November 2001, following several layoffs, Tech Live was divided into 3 one-hour shows, in order to better space out airing for other different types of shows. Then in the spring of 2002 it was cut down to only 30 minutes of airing. I'll have even more news shows to fill in those gaps. Ones catering to more niche tastes, like Anime Unleashed, Robot Wars, and Eye Drops, just to name a few. March 15, 2001 to 2002 marked even more layoffs. Silicon Spin, an opinion forum hosted by PC Magazine editor and ZDTV veteran John C. Dvorak, and Audiophile, the show for digital audio enthusiasts started around August 2000, were cancelled. Comcast dropped Tech TV from its channel lineups, possibly as a means to eliminate a competitor for the Comcast-owned G4. With low ratings and even lower exposure, Tech TV had little option but to merge with G4 in order to survive, causing the creation of G4 TechTV. Once again, with the new merger came even more controversial changes. Leo Lamport, due to a contract dispute with Vulcan, ended up leaving the channel. Shows that Lamport was a part of, such as The Screensavers and Call for Help, continued on with what little remaining staff that they had, until their eventual cancellation. And though the original Screensavers has been cancelled, it was revived by Lamport in 2015 under the name The New Screensavers. Now hosted on YouTube, the show itself has still kept its original flavor and format, just on a much larger scale than before. The many shows from the ZDTV era were cancelled or repurposed. Other shows would survive and even thrive during the rise of a new demographic shift for the channel. A demo made up of a small but ever-growing group of tech enthusiasts, gamers. Join me in the next part of this ongoing series as we discuss G4 TechTV and its effect on the gaming craze. See See you guys then.
Is your holiday just not performing? Then get G4's Holiday Joy, now with Christmas Day Marathon. 15 hours of G4's biggest events and specials of the year, starting at 11 a.m.
This thing is going off.
Watch out, incoming!
It's awesome.
It'll make you feel all tingly and jingly.
Got it? Good. Now move it.
The Holiday Joy Christmas Day Marathon starts Christmas Day at 11 a.m.
In the last part, we talked about the rise of ZDTV, the tribulations it went through, and its transformation from TechTV to G4 TV. Now we'll discuss how G4 TechTV ushered in a golden age of gaming content, as well as its eventual downfall. So let's dive back in. Though gaming shows have been airing since the ZDTV days, they didn't reach the height of popularity until late October 2001, when TechTV began to air extended play, hosted by Kate Patella and good old Adam Sessler. Although the show wasn't the first instance of video game reviews brought to a visual medium, it was years before web-based video game reviews were even a thought, let alone popular, allowing their main site to gather a lot of traffic during the early days of the internet. During the TechTV merger, Adam would take control of the show until April 2003, and Morgan Webb would replace Bortello as co-host. The show was a lot more edgy with its humor, and a lot of the skits that they did involved putting Adam in all sorts of dangerous situations, or just straight up laughing at his expense. I swear 90% of Adam's career was just that scene played on a loop in the later seasons, which reminds me of a tweet that I sent to Adam a few months ago. A few days later he replied with this. Now I don't think he was replying to me or not, but I think I was just one of the many straws that finally broke the balding camel's back.
The elves are back!
Pringle, Pringle, show us what you got.
And you can bowl them right down Santa Claus Lane. TechTV presents Super Elf Bowling. Download the game now and go for the perfect score. Super Elf Bowling. It's all new and available only at TechTV.com and InStorm.com.
Aside from X-Play, there's also a lesser-known review series known as Reviews on the Run. Originally known as Judgment Day in the first couple of seasons, its host Victor Lucas and creator of Earthworm Jim, Tommy Tallarico, had a more technical approach to their reviews. They didn't do any actual skits aside from the occasional quip, and were more focused about discussing the actual contents within the games they talked about. It had a really public access feel to it, and I mean that in a good way. Like just two guys decided to set up a camera somewhere and talk about their favorite games. Not to say X-Play is bad or anything, but I think Reviews on the Run took the whole concept of video game reviewing into a direction that I prefer a lot more.
Characters, those cool rocky characters fleshed out in a video game. You got Ivan Draco.
I must break you.
You got Clubber Lang.
I pity the fool. We're going to that. I'm going to get you. That ball. You the best.
You got Mickey, the trainer's in there.
You're going to eat lightning and you're going to crap thunder.
It's very good. And of course,
After the show's initial end, Victor would continue to host reviews on the Electric Playground Network on YouTube, where he still hosts content to this very day, leaving Tallarico to work on his music career, as well as work on a documentary for Vimeo known as Nintendo Quest, a story about a guy trying to buy every NES game in 30 days, without the use of any online auctioning sites like Amazon or eBay. You should definitely give it a look. It shows how gaming has evolved from a mere hobby and into a counterculture that people back in '85 would never be able to comprehend. Icons was pretty much what I'm doing right now. A series of documentaries talking about prominent people in gaming. Or should I say, icons. Okay. I'm not funny. So the show's a documentary series just like mine, except they actually do their research. Well, most of the times they do.
As technology advances, so does the curious young visionary.
Somebody programmed a game called Space War, and that was out of MIT. And the software was brought over to the University of Utah, and that was the first video game. And people say, gee, Nolan, you invented the video game. And I said, no, I didn't. Russell did from MIT.
Actually, if you want to get super technical, it was Ralph Baer, with the release of the Magnavox Odyssey in 1967, but no one asked me, so... Oh, come in.
What's going on?
Oh, hey, Corey. You wanna review Code Monkeys with me? Completely derailing this section of the video and artificially lengthening the video with unnecessary filler?
Yeah, man.
Code Monkeys, a 2007 adult animated series that was created by Adam de la Pena, creator of such shows like Minority Team and Crank Yankers. The show itself was created while Adam was working on Minority Team. He had a script called Dave and Jerry vs. the World. Sounds kind of like another popular series based off of video games. Okay, I did that joke like 1,000 times. Just, whatever. Corey.
After getting the rights to use Jonathan Colton's song of the same name, he changed the title to Code Monkeys. After shopping around, he settled on G4 to broadcast the show on July 11th of 2007, which is the perfect fit for the show since G4's entire premise was tech and gaming. At least it used to be, until they decided to air reruns of Cheaters all day. Who the heck wants to watch that show? If you want to know who's cheating on somebody, all you gotta do is, I don't know, stick a GPS on them or something. You'll find out your answer. Then on September of 2008, on Teletoon in Canada, of course, there were a few ad campaigns featuring some of the Gameavision's fictional games on G4 shows like Cheat and Attack of the Show.
Floating space rocks, you battle the Red Planet, an evil rock filled with the spirit of communism on its way to redistribute all of Earth's wealth. Destroy all the space rocks, but allow Mars to crash into Earth on Stage 9 to unlock a playable Mars. For more information about the player pack, visit Gameavision.com. I'm Kristen Holt, and you've been cheating.
It takes place in the early 1980s and follows Dave and Jerry, two game devs who work at a fictional game company by the name of Gameavision. Dave, who is the wild card of the two, usually starting or escalating the conflict of the episode, while Jerry is more of the serious and level-headed of the two. And it's basically just them trying to survive their new boss, Mr. Larity.
Aside from Dave, Jerry, and Larity, you also got Larity's two sons, Dean, the muscle-headed jock, and his adopted Korean son, Benny, who's voiced by Dana Snyder, the voice of Master Shake from Aqua Team Hunger Force.
There were other notable employees that the main cast interacted with, like Black Steve, the token black character, and Clarence, the sparkly sodomite with magical powers. You'd think that this would be considered an offensive stereotype of gay people, but this is pretty much how most people write LGBT characters nowadays. I mean, how else are you gonna know that they're gay if they don't announce it? Though one of my favorite characters would have to be Todd. He's basically your typical 30-something-year-old virgin who's obsessed with D&D, and is hated on by basically everyone at Gameavision, because he's so IQ compared to his pleb co-workers. He's also voiced by Dana Snyder as well, and it's probably one of his funniest characters since Master Shake.
Wow. This is what Rush must have felt like after they recorded 2112.
Todd, you are a genius.
Thank you, my little and only friend.
What's up? Here's the deal, nerd. Either you, Dave, or Jerry's a thief.
Mere mortals steal. But I, a god, can only create.
What does that mean?
It was Jerry.
I knew it!
So the show ran for 2 seasons, and before ending in 2008, the show had an interesting premise, but it just relies on typical adult humor. Occasionally, you'll get some interesting jokes and references to classic gaming of 80s culture or whatnot, but they always fall back on cheap sex and stoner jokes that were popular in a lot of medias during them times, and that's kind of run their course and kind of got outdated.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of passion behind this show. I mean, they got Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, to appear in a few episodes.
These devices are going to take people to places they could never imagine. Anyone who can use a computer is going to be more valuable than a CEO.
No offense, Woz, but home computers are going to be a passing fad, like MTV.
It's just a shame that they never really utilized a lot of the video game humor outside of a few sight gags. And even though interest for the show has pretty much dwindled, there have been a few tweets from De Pena featuring pixel characters very similar to the ones from Code Monkeys. He seems to have a lot of interest in the series, so maybe we'll see a revival in the future. Whoa, hold on. These two clips are actually from two shows that Adam de la Pena worked on after Code Monkeys. The ones from the particular tweets were from a show called Outlands. It's like a sci-fi series that came out around 2013. And then he worked on another show called Your Dungeon, My Dragon, which is kind of like a fantasy series that came out 1 year prior. And they're both on geekandsundry.com. Glad I picked up on this mistake, because yeah, that would have been really stupid of me if I didn't. So anyways, yeah, back to the rest of the video. See ya. Bye. Hey, thanks for helping me out, Corey. Merry Christmas. Gosh, what a nice guy. 2005 marked another turning point for G4 TechTV, one that would eventually lead to its downfall. On February 15th of the same year, G4 completely dropped the TechTV label and was just known as G4. Since TechTV was in no position to bargain due to what little crew they still had left, they had no choice but to follow suit with many of the rebrandings and demo changes to come. One of the first shows to be released from this merger was Attack of the Show. I guess it could be considered a spiritual successor to the Screensavers or Tech Live maybe, with it being a sort of tech-based info news show and all. The show was pretty successful, though some feel it was a sign of the downfall of G4, especially with its later seasons trying to appeal more to a mainstream audience, and its use of Olivia Munn to attract male viewers. But I think the earlier seasons at least had a little bit more validity.
Yesterday, Rockstar Games announced that the new game Bully is coming out in October, and today, violence in video games is a hot topic once again. The link between virtual violence and real crime continues to be an explosive topic. So strap on your flame retardant helmet because we're heading headfirst into the loop.
Though many of the original Tech TV shows did well in tandem with the current G4 programming after the merger, things would soon turn south for the remaining Tech TV staff. In 2006, Anime Unleashed was cancelled, and 6 years later, Attack of the Show and X-Play would follow suit. You know, if you want to hear a pretty good explanation of what happened straight from the source, check out Kevin Pereira's YouTube channel, The Attack. He and Adam did a podcast that basically just told their experiences about what happened at G4 TV at the time. You know, I probably just should have went to this video for my info, instead of just going full man-child on Adam's Twitter. Who am I kidding? That was fucking funny. And with that, G4 would continue to cull its last remnants of original programming. They then began to air syndicated shows, like Cops and Cheaters, in order to fill up empty gaps and make up for lost ratings. Though unfortunately, it was not enough. On December 31st, 2013, G4 was officially dead. After airing marathons of X-Play and Attack the Show, around New Year's Eve, the channel was completely dissolved. The only thing that remains is a completely desolate site and Facebook and Twitter accounts. Well everyone, that was Tech TV. Though it may be gone, this remarkable piece of alternative media will definitely not be forgotten. I want to thank everyone for sticking with me throughout this year. I really am blessed to have a bunch of people who are interested in my work, and I truly appreciate that. Well everyone, until then... Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, okay, that kind of hurt my throat.